Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brendan with Evoke Bike. We are back with episode 9 of Cat 4 questions. I got a good one that's kind of vague, but I like it because it talks more about the process of improvement in your cycling career, let's call it. And somebody else had asked before, he commented on the first origin of how we found bikes video. I never really put a follow-up to it where I'd left off because every piece of content that I'm putting out, I'm trying to say, like, I ask myself, how is this helping somebody and who does this help? And me just talking about myself, sharing the story, I didn't really see how that would be beneficial. But now, somebody else in a forum tagged me when they're asking on Trainer Road, like, who would they want to have on their podcast? And a couple people tagged me, which was a huge honor. And the guy said he's probably got an interesting story. Started late at 26, I think I read in his blog. Came out, won Masters Nats, started a coaching business. And he seems like someone who really likes to ride because he genuinely loves it and loves to push himself in training on Strava. He also wants everyone to be a better cyclist and train better, or else he wouldn't put out such involved and free blog posts and offer up free advice on a forum like this at Trainer Road. So this sort of intertwines because this other guy just yesterday had said, hey man, I got a bunch of questions for you. So we'll say, number one, did you or do you have a watt per kg goal? At least when you first started to truly get serious into racing and riding. Obviously the goal is always constant improvement, but do you have advice on an idea of what your ceiling is in the sport? Question number two. What's your big picture goal? And do you ever feel like you could potentially miss an opportunity for age reasons or other? That's a good question. I haven't been riding and racing that long, but I feel like I progressed really fast. I'll be 29 in January. My only big picture goal is to progress and to race at the highest end of the sport that I can get to. But I also know the older you get, the opportunity to race at a higher level like a domestic pro team can dwindle as far as getting a foot in the door. So, is there really any realistic ceiling to aim for? Sorry for the wordiness and blowing up your inbox lately. This might be too vague of a question. No, I think it's a great question. So the way he's 29, okay? So we had a really long chat back and forth. And he went from Cat 5 to Cat 2 in a year, which is incredible. And so the thing that I said to him, though, if he wants to be a domestic pro, that needed to happen like tomorrow. Time's running out for him. The fact that, I race a lot. I don't want this to come across in an arrogant way. I race, so I know a lot of people. The fact that I don't know who he is, if I don't know who he is, a team looking for guys and this guy's a state next to me, he's just not on the scene yet, right? Like, you mostly know all the hitters. Cycling's not that big of a community. So I was like, dude, you just got to get out and you got to race more. And this is the worst time for it to happen, right? If you're trying to go pro and get your name out there during COVID, no one's racing. No one has their name out there right now. And you need to go out and win. If you're not winning, nobody cares. No one remembers your third place except for you and your mom. And that's just the truth. You need to have a list of your Palmares and things. And to become a domestic pro, if you're about to turn 30 and there's a kid who's 23 and you're the same, well, guess what? You're not. He's got 7 years on you. So the other thing, too, that you need to ask yourself, like, what are you trying to get out of a domestic pro? When I was 27, I was trying to grow a medical device distributorship. And I remember being out in Boulder, and a big coach out there had said to me, hey man, if you want to make this happen, because I was kind of at the point where I had won a bunch of races, I was doing regional stuff as a Cat 1, and there was like this glimmer of hope, like, I don't know, am I good enough to be a pro? And he said to me, what I'm telling you guys, if you want to become a domestic pro, you got to do as many pro races as you possibly can. And at that time, the calendar was pretty thin. I was living in the Northeast. It would require a lot of getting in a car and traveling. And the guy told me, dude, you need to quit your job. You need to get in a car and you need to be at every crit and every race possible. To me, I was split. Like, I was really enjoying, I love growing businesses, and I was still had this game plan, this business plan, where I saw my medical device distributorship going. And that didn't mesh well with me leaving that to go after cycling full on. I think it would have been fun, but the other thing is I don't like crits. So to quit something that I was motivated to do and grow, to go after something that like there wasn't really a clear path, that I just couldn't conceptualize losing that to move this forward. I think in retrospect, the only regret that I have is one of my buddies on my team who did put himself out there more, embrace crits more. He eventually got to go race in France for 2 years for a Conti team. I guess it was more, it's Andrew McCullough. If you asked him, I think it was more like a domestic pro team over there. But the dude was paid, lived in a small town in France. I would have loved to have gone and done that with him. But at the same time, too, I was loving what I was doing with medical device stuff. And so I think you've got to, there's also gravel now. There's no categories there. Like, you got to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of being a pro? I think the coolest thing about being a pro would be that you get to travel and see more of the country. And if you do get that good enough and you're able to go over to Europe somehow and race, make that happen. But if your goal is just to ride a bike in Europe, buy a plane ticket and go ride a bike in Europe, right? Like there's gran fondos and there's other ways to achieve that. So I think the level of competition here is really good, that you can still be super competitive but not be pro. And to the point of being on a D1 elite team, a D1 elite team is just a Cat 1 team that paid some money to USA Cycling so that they can get points at the crits that are D1. I'm probably not the biggest promoter of that because I don't really care about crits. I think crits is like the American circus. Real racing is road racing. That's why I love gravel, long rides. That's just me. People that love crits, cool. But that to me that's like the American thing. It's just not what ever got me into cycling. So I'm not a huge promoter of it. To his question, watts per kg goal. You always hear everyone say 5 watts per kilogram. You don't know. Do people talk about like 20 minutes? They talk about an hour. 5 is a great goal. If you can do 5 watts per kg for either duration, 20 minutes or 60 minutes, you're a good cyclist. But if you're really trying to be the best that you can be, that doesn't even make you a domestic pro necessarily. Like even if you look in WKO, let's see they have the old chart. These numbers are probably outdated. 20 minutes, 5.5 watts a kilo is a domestic pro at 20 minutes. And at an hour, domestic pro, they have listed doing 5.3. So yeah, do 5 for anything. You're going to be a good Cat 1. You're going to beat up on people locally. Did I ever have that as a goal? Not really. I always had as a goal winning races. Even when I won, and even to define, I wanted to win the best race of the day that was there. I remember winning like a Cat 3 race, but watching like the Cat 1s and 2s were getting ready for their race after my race. I'm like, dude, I want to be in their race. So like he's saying, it was the progression of it all. Trying to just race the best guys there and really challenge yourself. And there was a guy in my city, Todd Shesky. He was like the boss of the local scene. And I was like, okay, that's the dude that I'm aiming for. First I had to get to Cat 4 and then to 3 and then to 2. You had to climb your way up, but it was just watching this dude. And Todd and I, we definitely don't agree on everything. I have a ton of respect for the dude. He is still racing. He's like 60. No, I'm kidding. He's probably like late 40s or something. And he's still a respected racer. Like that's so motivating as someone myself who's 38. And I look at like old guys like Owen Schott. Shout out Owen, now 40 plus. He's coming out. We just did an interview. You'll see that in a week or so. This sport is something that you can continue to grow and find like it can add to your life in so many amazing ways. So don't put a ceiling on it. Don't put a cap on where you're going. Like I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing now. Not to be like, yeah, man. But I got to race in New Zealand last year. I mean, what an experience that was. And like, even going out and doing things like Gravel Worlds in Iowa. I mean, just to go race in Iowa with athletes like Colin Strickland and, Eric Marcotte and just like dudes who crush. Just to like be able to toe the line there and be like, all right, I'm going to try and mix it up with these guys today. Like that is just incredible. And from where I'm coming from, like origin story from what I said in the first video, like 10 years ago, I was just finding myself hanging out with the wrong people. So to kind of flip that I always laugh when a dude was like, I've just always seen you as this Cat 1 cyclist. I wish that had been my path because I love cycling so much. But, sometimes you get off it a little bit and you find your way back. And maybe in finding the way back, it made me more motivated for it now. So my only big picture goals are progress, race at the highest end of the sport that I can get to. That's why I always tell people upgrade as fast as you can. If, you've got people that sandbag for like 6 months because they want to go win a race as a Cat 3, it's like, who cares? Like, aren't you in this for your own personal improvement? You should want getting the Cat 3 win at a race. You're just setting the bar too low on yourself. Go race Cat 2, get your face beat in, get one more race of experience so that when the next big Cat 2 race comes along, you can do better at that race and then get to the Cat 1 race and try to win the biggest race of the day. That's going to set you catapulting forward in your own personal growth way faster than holding back to beat up on people that you're about to leave anyways. Like, I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. Keep going, grinding. So, yeah, it was sort of a vague question. Hopefully that's a less vague answer, but I think it's don't put a ceiling on yourself. Continually progress and try to challenge yourself as much as possible. And the doors that are going to open to you through cycling through just racing and meeting people are going to be so much more than I ever expected. I mean, I remember getting dropped for my first Cat 4 training race and being like, driving home, being like, maybe I'm just not fast enough to race with these guys. And if you had told me the number of people I've met, the number of places I've gone, the number of experiences I've had, like what cycling has delivered to me all through just trying to get better each day, it's pretty crazy. I was just, at that time doing medical device stuff. I thought I was super happy doing that, but I was in like a traditional job, go do stuff after work, go to sleep, wake up. It was the same thing over and over again. And like this just like, dude, life got way more amazing. I said I was going to do origin story. I don't know if I will. This seems like a long enough Cat 4 questions. We hit enough of it. You know what? Let's do this. Last question number 4 will be, what was my Cat 5 experience like? So I think Cat 5 was really interesting. And the bottom line of Cat 5 is, remember, Cat 5 is not tactics. It's just fitness. Or we'll call it Cat 4 and 5 because now they're the same. It's who is the most fit. You got Cat 4 teams that are making all these game plans and they think they have a lead out train and they just get beat by somebody who's stronger. It's hard. Like, it's really hard. There's such a varying degree of fitness. For me, Cat 4 was really just trying to understand how racing worked. I always thought it was really interesting. There's guys like in the race yelling. There's like a lot of like weird stuff that happens in Cat 4 or 5 by guys that have been a Cat 4 or 5 for like 4 or 5 years. Those are the people you don't want to listen to because they're still a Cat 4. So just watch the race afterwards. See how the faster guys are racing. Look at their Strava. What are they doing for training? Ask them questions. I would say my experience in 4 or 5 was quick because I had great mentors, because I had a guy, Mike Minerva, because I had, even when I got my first A training race, Brian Cardona got up the road and his teammate, Mark, was like, you need to be in that break. And I said, go now. He said, go now. And I bridged across and I won a 5-man sprint for my first A race. It was a Tuesday night and I felt like I won the world championship. Like, it was the best feeling. So back to this guy's question, like, hey, I think he puts out a lot of like involve-free content because the GVCC community really was all about like trying to raise up everybody. I miss that community. It's the best cycling community I've ever seen. And so if I can put out a video that inspires one person to like get into training, to race and try and win their Tuesday night world championship or training, this was a whole training series in Rochester, and grow from that, then that's awesome. Then I've taken the 30 minutes it takes to film this, upload it, put some comments in, and that's my giving back. So that's the whole point of this. And that's really how Evoke Bike started. You know, we said we were having a conversation on the phone. I said, Patrick, we should record this and post it. And then it just kind of like circled from there. So we're going to stop Cat 4 questions. Let me know. This was a little vague one. Maybe I'll do what was Cat 3 like, what was Cat 2 like, and what was Cat 1 like. And then what is my life as a cyclist definitely changed in 2019 when I went full-time into coaching and running this business and have some other opportunities opening and totally shut the door on medical device. So I'll throw those in there down the road. If you haven't checked out the playlist of the interview series, Brandon Malott, Raleigh Weaver, those first 2 videos, I got to get Whitney back and do a video with him. Those were killer. Really enjoyed those. Owen Shots coming next. Johnny Purvis. We got some others in the down the pipeline. Super stoked. Let me know what questions you have. Brendan at Evoke Bike, and we'll talk to you soon. And yeah, I'm definitely going to make a Lactigo video, and then I'll shut up about it. Maybe. PR smashing. All right, I'll see you.